Bars is back. Sam Ant. Oh God. What's up with?
Attention all my business owners, if you would like to advertise your business right before each video that we do here on Hip Hop News Uncensored, make sure you email us right now, advertise@hiphopun.com, advertise@hiphopun.com, ask about our holiday specials.
Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip Hop Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe.
It's amazing to me.
Right. Talk about 50 Cent. Obviously I know you met him by now. How's it working with him? Such a, great guy in the television production, movie production arena. How was that?
I met him at 11/11 in Miami at the strip club, right, during Super Bowl weekend.
Dope.
And I never met him before. And he comes up to me, he says, "Yo, I'm going to put you on TV." I was like, "What? Get the hell out of here. I'm going to make that happen. You and Envy going to be on TV, doing your real estate show." I was like, "Okay." And he made it happen, bro.
Wow.
And that's how I met him. It's been love ever since. And he said, "We're gonna make it happen." We ended up getting into a bidding war for our TV show with a couple of networks, and 50 made it happen, man.
And that was as simple as you chilling in a Miami strip club Super Bowl weekend. So talk about the power of networking and just being at the right place at the right time and having those opportunities kind of just open up different doors for you.
Yeah, bro. I tell everybody, right? It's very important to network. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. None of that stuff. And I still network, man. Like I don't care. Everybody else around me is drinking. You still have to go out there. You have to show your face.
Yeah.
You never know what that chance encounter is going to lead to.
Word. Ours, man. This is a long time coming. I remember me and my cousin at the AC Convention Center watching you, Envy, and your squad, got credit, and everybody else doing y'all thing, man, and really blowing us away with what you got going on, man. So thank you for coming on. It's an honor to have you on finally, and let's get to work, man. So how you feeling out here, man? 2023 is upon us. It's been a crazy journey from 2020 to here, and it's been crazy, in not only in the real world but also in the real estate world, man. So how is life in your part of the world?
Everything is good, man. Just trying to start the year out strong. Strong, right? And just making it happen. Real estate is still strong. Values are not going down. Rents are crazy. But that's just making it happen.
Right. Now talk about your new TV show. I heard you stuck up a new deal with DJ Envy for a TV show. Talk about that if you can.
Oh yeah, so pretty much me and Envy have a TV show. It's gonna be called Hustle and Flip. For some reason they put out that it was Property Players, but it's Hustle and Flip, and it's executive produced by 50 Cent. Wow. And it's coming out on A&E, and we should be on TV either September or January 2023.
Big news, definitely.
Let's talk about the journey, man. Talk about from the humble beginnings on to where you came from now, because it wasn't always prosperous for you. We heard a bit of your story at the real estate seminar. Cuz bought your book, so we know a little bit of the backstory. But for the people who don't know, let the people know where Cesar comes from and how he got into real estate.
Well, pretty much, nobody in my family owned real estate, right? I barely have a high school diploma. I'm more street educated than anything else. I graduated high school when all of my friends chose to go to college. I chose the streets. Everybody told me, change your life. If you don't change your life, you're going to end up in prison. Of course, at that point, I'm young. I think I know everything. So I ended up in prison, right? But I turned negative into a positive. While I was in prison, I met a developer. They came into prison. He was there for political corruption, and he taught me about real estate. And I taught him how to bid, how everything worked in the prison system. And then once I came home, I started doing mortgages right from the halfway house. I was up. It was the wild cowboy days. I was making a lot of money. Market collapsed. We opened up a restaurant. We lost everything. I saw an opportunity in real estate and been doing real estate ever since. 17 years later, here I am.
Right. Now, I heard you telling the story about, I don't know if your first property was like a multi-family unit and you made like 60 to 75,000 on your first deal. Talk about your first transaction, your first successful real estate transaction.
That was my first deal. It was a three family. When everybody was running away from the market, I saw an opportunity in real estate. I was still in the restaurant at that point that we had opened up, where we were losing everything.
Hmm.
And I did that deal while I was in the restaurant. I made 60, 70,000, and I closed that restaurant the next day.
Wow.
And I've been doing real estate now ever since, for the last almost 17 years. I've been in real estate.
Wow. Then
I
was that
started with smaller properties, two, three, four family homes.
right?
Uh, then got into commercial properties. I'm also I'm a developer too. I build properties from scratch, 50 units, 80 units, 100 units. So I pretty much do everything when it comes to real estate, as far as, especially on the rental property side.
Right now, I heard you saying now that if you were like a novice and you wanted to get into it, you said the best type of property, and correct me if I'm wrong, now to get into is a rental. Is that true? Talk about that. Somebody who wants to, get into it with little cash flow and not that great credit.
I would definitely start with a rental, right? Something that's cash flowing, an easy deal. Maybe my first time property, get it under a FHA mortgage. You only have to put 3.5% down, right? But let's say you don't even have the 3.5% down. If you have great credit, right, you can always leverage your credit. Get an LLC, tax ID, open up some business credit cards. Get some kind of business funding that won't appear on your personal credit, since you opened it up under the LLC. Then you can use that money for your down payment. So if you don't have the 3.5%, there's your answer. You can also, if you have good credit, over a 700 credit score, you can leverage your credit to get money to buy real estate.
Right. Now I got a friend of mine and they jumped into a deal like a year or so ago and got a rental property, but it was a side of the game they wasn't really ready for because I guess at a point in time people didn't have to pay rent, so they got stuck with the mortgage. They were, good thing they had good jobs and everything like that. But talk about the other side, of that, of them ruining the apartment, not paying, just the negative side of it as well.
Well, it's part of the business, right? But in New
Mhm.
Jersey, the good thing is, if you're in Jersey, you can evict somebody that doesn't pay in 30 to 45 days. If
Okay.
you're in Atlanta, it's like 3 weeks. If you're in Florida, I think it's like 2 weeks in Florida.
Mm.
Chicago's 30 to 45 days. I'm giving you examples of the markets that I'm in.
Mhm.
When it comes to the rental side of the business, you always want to be in landlord friendly states. New York is not landlord friendly. It'll probably take you about 2 years to evict somebody.
Damn.
Uh, so you definitely want to be in these in those states.
You say you've been in this game for 17 years now, and economically, this country's been through a lot of ups and downs. How has that affected real estate, and what are some of those trials and tribulations that you've been through throughout your 17 years that you could share with the people?
I'll be honest. As long as you buy under market value, right, you'll never get hurt in real estate. That's the most important thing. Buying under market value, and that's the same thing that since I started, right. During the Obama administration, I made money. During the Trump administration, I made money. During the Biden administration, I made money. It doesn't really matter, right? Who's in office, what's going on with the economy. What matters is buying under market value. As long as you go by those core principles in real estate, you always do well.
Right. I remember at one point in time I was going to jump into it and I kind of regret it now. I was going to try to get a condo at one point in time. Obviously, I know you don't regret that now, but talk about the people who may be wanting to get into real estate and maybe just a little bit, apprehensive in doing so because they might lose their job or whatever the case may be. Just talk about the leap of faith that you took, how it's benefiting you now, you and your family.
It's just one of those things, right? Where real estate is one of the only things that you can make money in your sleep, right? You don't have to
Mhm.
work that hard. You need to once you get your system into place, real estate makes money automatically, right? And eventually, when you don't have your career, right, real estate will help you, that your lifestyle, right, won't change, right, because you're still making the same amount of money. Because pretty much, even when we're gone, real estate is here forever.
You talk about those pieces in place that you need to be successful. You talked about once you get your structure in place, then the real estate when it comes to that, it starts moving accordingly. So what's the structure that is needed for somebody to run a successful real estate business? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. I was asking, you talked about like the structure in real estate. Talk about some of the structural needs that's needed in order to run a successful real estate business.
I'll be having difficulties there. You still in the building?
Yeah, I hear you. I lost you again, but I hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any way you could turn on the light? We could barely see you. That's okay.
You know, I make the screen full screen and still use it.
All right,
Is that
cool.
better? Yep.
Yeah, that's better. Appreciate you, bro.
Hello.
So what I was saying is, you said that it's a certain real estate structure that you need in order to be successful. Talk about that, like from the credit score to having the proper lawyer to finding a hard money or soft money lender. Talk about how structurally you find success in real estate.
Pretty much, you have to know what your credit is, right? Your credit has to be right. Not super, not. You don't have to get the best credit have the best credit in the world. Hard money doesn't really look at your credit score being that high. They look more on the equity in the deal. FHA, you can have a credit score of at least as low as a 620 and still be able to do a deal. You want to build a relationship with the right lender, right? Somebody that is going to answer all your questions and point you in the right direction. Of course, the right attorney, right? That's one of the most important things because you got to make sure that paperwork is tight in any business. And those are kind of like the people you want on your team. Eventually, if you're doing fix and flips, then you want to have the right contractors. You want to have that team around you too.
Right. Now I seen you. We seen you. Doing a lot of different deals. We talk about hooking up with DJ Envy as well. When you guys are doing a real estate seminar that we actually attended, and let me tell you, man, it was a wealth of knowledge. In that seminar in Atlantic City. So talk about hooking up with DJ Envy and taking things to the next level with your business seminars, real estate seminars.
So pretty much, I've been in real estate for like I said for 17 years. Me and Envy just started doing seminars 4 years ago. Um, I never thought I was going to be a public speaker, right? That wasn't part of the plans. I met Envy, and he's like, "Yo, you got a dope story. I think we should do something." And I was like, I don't know, bro." So we put up on social media real estate seminar in Paterson, New Jersey, our first seminar, and 500 people showed up.
Wow.
And Envy's like, he gives me the mic at the end. You got to close the show, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I
Yeah.
say? Right? And believe me or not, Envy didn't give me no pointers, bro. He just passed me the mic. This guy's a professional speaker and tells me, "Here, go, make it happen." And that's how it started.
Right. Now I heard you say as a result of that, those seminars you've been doing the last 4 years, $200 million, worth of real estate transactions through, for them coming to you. Is that true? Wow.
Yeah, for our seminar, and that's only like 20%. Right. We had more than 180,000 people come to our real estate seminars.
Damn.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to where you buy, location, how does that play into part? Where did you start, and when did you decide? Was it always the plan to branch out, or did the seminars kind of open up different doors when you start traveling to different cities to start seeing different properties and branch out? How did that come about?
Yeah, no, 100%. That's how it was. So when before the seminars, my whole thing was Jersey, Jersey, Jersey.
Word.
I'm the king of Paterson. I'm the king of North Jersey. And once I hit the road with the seminar, I was like, yo, the same thing that I was doing over here, now I could do over there. Price points change in Jersey, but now the price points are lower over here. So now I could go over here. So that's what it is, really, man. In essence, it's all numbers. If you know how to work the numbers, you can pretty much go to any state.
Dope. Right. That's super dope. Now, you said that you weren't a public speaker, right? And you got into that and you branched out, and now that's opened up so many different doors within your real estate. But now you're about to be on TV. Did you ever imagine that you just coming out of prison, going into the halfway house, starting this real estate, it would branch into an A&E show, like fucking Pawn Stars, or Storage Wars or something crazy like that?
Not at all, bro. I still can't believe it, right? It's nothing that I ever envisioned or anything that I was looking for, you know.
Right.
But it just happened. Just like, you know, I dropped the book. I never thought that I would have my own book, you know, and I had it for a while. Then I dropped it and went #1 across the board. Uh, you know, so you know, I've definitely been blessed, and you know, and I'm most appreciative that I have such a solid fan base, you know, and and so many people are inspired for with what I do, and you know, it's amazing to me.
Right. Talk about 50 Cent. Obviously I know you met him by now. How's it working with him? Such a, great guy in the television production, movie production arena. How was that?
I met him at 11/11 in Miami, at the
Right.
strip club, right during Super Bowl weekend.
Dope.
And I never met him before, and he comes up to me. He says, "Yo, I'm gonna put you on TV." I was like, "What? Get the hell out of here! I'm gonna make that happen. You and Envy gonna be on TV, you know, doing your real estate show." I was like, "Okay," and he made it happen, bro. And
Wow.
that's how I met him. You know, it's been love ever since. And you know, he said, "We're gonna make it happen." We ended up getting into a bidding war for our TV show with a couple networks, and
Mm.
50 made it happen, man.
And that was as simple as you chilling in a Miami strip club Super Bowl weekend. So talk about the power of networking and just being at the right place at the right time and having those opportunities kind of just open up different doors for you.
Yeah, bro. I tell everybody, right? It's very important to network. Uh,
Mhm.
I don't drink. You know, I don't do drugs. None of that stuff. And I still network, man. Like I don't care. Everybody else around me is drinking. You still have to go out there. You have to show your face.
Yeah.
You never know what that chance encounter is going to lead to.
Word. That's a fact.
Real talk.
That's
Real
strong.
talk. So what's next for you, man? I know you got the TV show. Anything else you guys going to be expanding into that you want to let the people know about as well?
Well, we got so much stuff going on. We just dropped our real estate platform, Flip to Dow.
Okay.
Uh, you know, we just dropped that. That's for people getting into real estate. It's a dope platform. Pretty much anything you ever needed to know in real estate, as far as you know, investing, contractors, any tools you could think of are on this are on this platform. I think in March we're gonna have our own hard money fund, so we're actually gonna become lenders. So that's kind of like the next evolution in our career now. So you know, just buy more real estate, man.
That's dope. Now, one thing I also admire about you, I know the team admires about you, is that your team and your tree around you is also winning. You got the Got Credit crew with Jose Rodriguez and his squad over there. We met them at your real estate seminar as well. And I could tell you personally, I got hooked up with them and they changed my credit and got me in the right direction, what they do. So I can stamp that they are who they say they are. They are as advertised. Talk about that, getting up with Jose and the Got Credit team and what they have going on too, man, because I'm super proud of them as well.
Yeah, no, you know, like I tell everybody, Jose Rodriguez, man, got credit. The credit dude, he's pretty much the face of credit. You know,
Yeah.
he's branding himself so very well that when you think about credit, I think right now in this country, you think about Jose, and
Hmm.
I've seen Jose do amazing things, bro. Like he's official.
Facts.
Right. Yeah. And I used to be into the credit repair a long time ago. So I can attest to the stuff that he's saying is all 100% correct.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah.
about, I heard you also talking about like scammers and people who like sold one property, two properties and think that they're, experts in real estate. What pointers can you give us, to talk, kind of avoid those people? Because you see them all over the internet, all over Instagram saying you can do this and do that. Talk about that.
You know what it is, man? Right, we live in an age of social media, so now everybody could portray something that they're not. Right,
Right.
you gotta do as much research as possible, right? But and then you have to, you know, most of the information is out there, man. It's free already, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of these guys, like, you go to their events or you buy their education or whatever it is, and the stuff that's already out there, right? Like you come to our seminars and we actually show you techniques, right? How to make
Hmm.
that real estate journey easier for you, right? A lot of times you go to these different events, and it doesn't even have to be anymore about just real estate. You know, it could be about trucking, right? It could be about tour. Like everybody, you know, they rent one car in Toro and they want to sell you a course, right? So it's kind of one of those things now, man. You know, where you got to be very careful because everybody's very easy. They'll show they'll show you some fancy jewelry, a fancy car, and you think they're successful, and that's not really success.
Right. Also, can you talk about? I did read a lot of your book. I don't think I finished it, but you were talking about your wife and how she pretty much stuck by you. This whole journey. Even when you pretty much were dead broke. Talk about that whole journey and having a good woman by your side. That's going to support you through everything.
Yeah, man. One of the most important things, right, in life and in success, you got to have a strong foundation at home,
Yeah.
and that right partner, right? Like my wife is my ride or die. She's been through everything. Just to give you an example, the day we got married is the same day that I went to prison, right?
Dang.
Yeah.
Talking about a gangster story, right? And she held it down the whole time. My wife was pregnant while I was locked up. I wasn't there when my daughter was born, and my wife held it down. We actually bought our first house right before we went in. Before I went in, and she held it down, man. And she's been with me since the beginning, and I hope she's with me all the way to the end. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be who I am.
Definitely appreciate your story. You got any more questions, bro?
Go ahead.
I got one more question for you, brother. So I got a 14-year-old son, right? And I was been thinking when he graduates, I want to buy him his first property and kind of get him into real estate himself as almost like a graduation gift. One, how would you kind of tell a parent if they want to get their child into something early to kind of get them invested early? What would be the proper steps into doing that, from getting them on their credit lines to looking at certain properties? What would be your course of action if somebody were to ask you to do that?
I would definitely, add them as authorized users to your credit cards, right? So like that, by the time they turn 18, they already have great credit, right? Which I did that for my daughter. She's been on my credit card since she was like 15. For her Sweet 16, I actually bought her, instead of having a Sweet 16 party, I bought her a 12-unit building in Chicago.
Dang, man,
Uh,
that's power.
that she runs. She knows the numbers. She knows what it makes every month. And that's kind of like her piggyback, right? Now you know that she pays for her DoorDash and all her stuff, right? And her iTunes. But yeah, man, I would just save a little bit of money as much as possible. Make sure their credit is right, and then don't be scared, to go to a different state, right? Like, for example, right, like right now, yeah, when in the tri-state area, it's too expensive over here, but you could go to a place like Milwaukee and buy a two-family house for $25,000.
Wow, shit.
Or you could go to Ohio, and maybe buy a building for 150,000, right? So don't be scared to go to different areas too. At the end of the day, even though you're not there, you pay a property manager 5 to 10%, and you don't have to worry about it.
Right. Did you've been in Jersey? Did you get a lot of property in Atlantic City when you were down here? How is this area?
Yeah, I got a couple things in Atlantic City, not as much as I should, but I'm definitely gonna buy more. But
Okay.
I'm in Jersey, I'm in Atlanta, I'm in Florida, I'm in Chicago, I'm in Milwaukee, I'm in Ohio. Those are the markets that I'm in right now.
Cool. Now I know you say you really didn't want to get into a course or like upselling people when it comes to your seminar, but did you guys ever think about that, putting together like an e-course or ebook or something? Or are you just going to do it strictly the way you guys are doing it?
Well, that's why we have our real estate platform, Flip to Dow.
Okay.
So that's kind of the answer that everybody was looking for, right? Now we have that. So what Flip to Dow is pretty much a real estate platform, right, where you can learn everything you want to know about real estate, wholesaling, Airbnb, rental properties. Then part two to that is the network, right? So if you need a contractor in Chicago, an architect in Miami, a plumber in Ohio, you click the button, the answer is there. So you have the education, the network. Then the third part, which is finally going to go live. Let's say after all of that, you tell yourself, you know what? I'm not confident enough to pull the trigger on my own. Can I invest in a deal with you guys? Now you can.
Wow. Well, all right. Well, last question will be: you said Airbnb.
Mhm.
Do you have any Airbnb? And what do you say about people who they might have a property and they want to do an Airbnb? Would you say do that, rent it out? What would be your best advice? Or does it?
I'm not in that market at all, right?
Okay.
If you are going to get into that market, I would go, somewhere sunnier, right in the tri-state area. Uh,
Yeah.
but I did read a couple articles lately, man, that there's so many Airbnb uh, landlords now that it's
Yeah.
kind of changing a little bit where it's not as profitable. So I would definitely do my
Yeah.
research because it is changing.
I do got one more question for you. Do you flip all your real estate properties, or do you stay in some and like once you're traveling and starting to see different areas, do you say, well, shit, this is nice, I might keep this for myself, or do you flip everything? All is a flip.
No, so pretty much I flip about 40 to 60 properties a year. Usually anything single families,
Mm.
right? Sometimes two families. Anything that's 3 units and up, I keep forever.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what's the formula behind that?
It's just numbers, right? If it's a residential property, as long as I can make like 1,500, 2,000 a month, I'll keep it.
Mm.
That on average per door, I used to want to make before 900 to 1,200 a door, but now rents are so high, right? The average price of rent right now nationwide is 2,500, and now I'm making about 1,600 to 1,800 a door, which is crazy.
Oh, so when you say you keep it, you mean you keep it and rent it out. You don't live in there
Yep.
yourself. I got you.
Yep.
Okay, so you're making money on all of them. You ain't
Yep.
putting money in any. Love it, man.
So what if somebody had a house, right? And they wanted to move out that house? Do you suggest selling the house or just renting it out? Or it kind of depends on the numbers?
It's all numbers, but right now, man, rents are so high that any
Yeah.
property you have, you're gonna make a profit if you rent it.
Right. Yeah.
How long do you think that'll go? Continue.
You know, man, right now, right? I think America's in a kind of a scary place, right? When it comes to right now, when you think about it, right? Rates went up, right? So at the end of the day, what does that do? It kind of pushes minorities out of the game of buying a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you see somebody like right, like Chase, right? Chase Bank, and they go out and they're putting aside $1 billion to buy single family homes to rent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you read between the lines, it's kind of like, okay, so they're telling us not to buy properties. There's a recession, but one of the most successful banks in the country is buying all these properties to rent it out to us,
Mhm.
right? So you have to be very careful because I think right now the way that it's going in the next 5 to 10 years, America is becoming a nation of renters, and at the rate that it's going, 40% to 50% of all the single family homes in the country are going to be owned by big institutions, banks, funds, and
Yeah.
that dream of home ownership is kind of leaving from the minds of Americans now. Like everybody's renting, and that's not good, right? Um,
Yeah.
and that's why you see, I don't know, man. You always got to read in between the lines. Oh yeah, recession, real estate is changing, but yet why are all the big banks buying properties to rent at a rapid pace and telling us not that we shouldn't buy, right? So you got to read in between the lines a little bit.
Definitely appreciate you here on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. And shout out to Q the Question for setting up the interview as well, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you, Cesar. Keep doing your thing. Keep doing great things, inspiring people. When you come back in town, man, please hit us up. We would love to have you in studio as well. You know where Egg Harbor Township is, or Northfield, right outside of AC?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not
where our
definitely.
studio is, brothers. We love to have you over here, man. So
Definitely, man. Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
you, brother. Indeed.
All right, peace.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Peace.
Peace out.